Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here. I'm going to talk about a few comics. Scarlet Spider, number 7. Supergirl, number 11. Both comics I picked up because of other people's comments about them. And then I'm also going to say a little bit about Captain Atom and the Invincible Iron Man. Also, I want to apologize to everyone out there. Lately, I haven't been replying to your comments on my videos because YouTube won't let me reply to them. I can make new comments, but they won't. I think then the person who made the comment won't be notified that I responded to their comment. I hope that YouTube fixes this soon. It seems like maybe not everyone's having this problem, but some people are. So I'm not sure what's up. I also noticed, actually under my other YouTube account, they asked me if I wanted to sign with my real name, which made me kind of nervous because it makes me think they're starting to realize that YouTube is becoming even more of a social network, and they want to make money off that. So they want to link us all to all our other stuff online. And I kind of want to keep my comic book world separate from other things I might do. Particularly in terms of future employment. But anyway, just something to be keep an eye on what YouTube's up to. I assume when things start going wrong, it's because they're making changes, and in the meantime, they've broken code somewhere else. At least that's what happens where I work. I'm not an engineer, but I work closely with the engineers, and we have those kinds of problems a lot. So anyway. I picked up Supergirl in part because I want to get into more of the female superheroes, both because that's a good thing to do and because my daughter is so interested in superheroes, but she wants female superheroes. And so I want to become more knowledgeable in them and see what things she might like as she gets older, or if there's anything we can actually share right now. Because I can sometimes sort of look, even through a grown-up comic book, if there's nothing gory or otherwise unpalatable for a small child, I can sort of look at the pictures with her and make up a story for her. But anyway, Supergirl was kind of for me personally, kind of a so-so experience, at least judging just by this issue. And it's often dangerous to judge something by one issue. I think the story was okay, but didn't have a real strong focus. Supergirl's still getting used to life on Earth, which is an interesting angle. She can't even speak English very much yet. I'm a bit surprised she's not learning it quicker by issue 11, but maybe very little time has passed on her side of things. And I don't know if Superman and Supergirl's powers include learning languages quickly. But anyhow, I guess not. But so she's made 2 friends, and one of them has magic powers, so she can talk to her because her magic allows her to understand Supergirl. And another one is a guy, and he would like to date Supergirl, so they go on their first date, and they fly from Ireland to New York for their first date. How they communicated to Supergirl to fly, since he can't. The whole date thing is kind of, I guess, a little amusing because he can't talk to her and she can't talk to him. But then the date gets interrupted as a bad guy shows up, who is kind of a cool bad guy, a good thing to go against someone with superpowers because nanotechnology makes him sort of able to continuously rebuild himself no matter how many times she knocks him down. And make copies of himself. But eventually she figures out how to stop him. And the date ends and they fly back to Ireland. Sorry if I've spoiled it for anybody, but there's just not a whole lot going on there. And it's probably interesting to someone who's all invested in Supergirl, but it's not very tightly plotted or nothing's very surprising or unusual happening. But if you're emotionally invested in what's going on with Supergirl's life, it might be an interesting little episode. And actually, it seems that, I won't give this away, but at the very end, it seems like she's breaking away from whatever her current situation has been and is flying off into some new situation that we'll find out about in issue 12. So it kind of feels like a a comic book that's still trying to find itself and find out what it's about. But Supergirl does seem like an interesting character in that she's come to Earth and she doesn't understand anything. And maybe I should pick up some of the older issues to find out more of what's going on. And this might be fun for my daughter in a few years, so it might be fun to collect it. But I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do. I was not that into the art. The artist makes Supergirl so skinny as to look like you could, snap her wrist or something. Maybe that's because she's supposed to be a very young teenager, and it may also be this artist's style to kind of do exaggerated thinness. When she's not dressed as a superhero, she looks a little less extreme, like in that picture. Anyway, it's interesting, but I think I'll just keep an eye on it and see what happens, or listen to if anybody else starts reviewing it some more. And then Scarlet Spider. And I have to really thank Hitman Von Doom and Your Pro Buddy Online. Both of them have recommended Scarlet Spider highly, and they're right. It's excellent. I just picked up in issue 7, and there's obviously been a lot of backstory, but I was able to enjoy it and really get into it. The art's really nice. I think it might be a brand new artist on the series, Koi Pham, with Tom Palmer on inks. Tom Palmer's an old veteran, although you can't really tell. I guess inkers no longer really imprint their styles on things. So, but anyway, it's great art and a really good story, good solid superhero story with the twist that he's. As it says on the top, all the power, none of the responsibility. Although his powers seem a little different than Spider-Man's. However, he doesn't seem to have a spider sense or anything, and he seems to have a little stinger or something that comes out of his fist. But he is kind of irresponsible, but trying to be responsible, and that's pretty neat. He rescues a girl, and she gets totally freaked out. And then starts kissing him. And that actually makes total psychological sense. I remember from psychology classes those studies about how people confuse arousal states. So if you're in a dangerous situation, you can easily confuse it or transfer it over into sexual arousal. So if you take someone out on a date and do something really dangerous, you're probably more likely to get lucky. So being rescued from falling from a skyscraper, and if you combine that with a superhero who doesn't have a great moral compass, it was a lot of fun. And that bad choice of his led him to all sorts of other bad choices. And then he's friends with this gay policeman, and I thought that was handled very well. They don't try to make a big deal and sell it to the media. Oh, we've got gay characters in Scarlet Spider, but they do. Just a cool. I guess I shouldn't show the last page, but there's some supervillains who show up who I'm kind of interested to see in the next issue too. It's a cool sort of variation on Spider-Man that I'm really enjoying. A good, solid superhero book with its own little twist. And it's only $2.99, so I can go out and buy it without hurting my boycott. And then I still have some comic books I picked on Wednesday I haven't read yet, but I went straight to Captain Atom, which is a really fun read that I think I mostly heard a comic book mom talking about how great it is. So I've been picking it up for a few months, and I got some of the back issues. And I really enjoy Captain Atom. It's not really a superhero book. It's just a science fiction book about someone given these extraordinary superpowers. And it's done in a very pleasing art style. This issue 11 was particularly good. And as most of you know, it's going to be canceled after issue 0. So we'll have had a 13-issue run. But if you can pick up, a couple of issues in a row, I'd recommend it. It's fun stuff. If you like cosmic kinds of things, it doesn't. It's cosmic, but it's not. It doesn't try to be too heavy or anything. So it's just kind of a, I'm not describing it well. This issue ends on a really good, not cliffhanger exactly, but a kind of reveal or a hint of something newer and stranger to come. So it's kind of like the series as a whole is like they keep playing with the idea of this overly powerful superhero or superpowered being, and keep doing every few issues, a new little twist on what he can do or what the results of his attempts to do things better or make things better, making things worse, or affecting the future and the past, and just all this kind of stuff. So it's kind of like they're doing a lot of thought experiments with Captain Atom, and that's been a lot of fun. And then I think I've mentioned I got this subscription, a mail subscription directly from Marvel with Iron Man, and I mentioned in my vlog I'd only gotten one issue, and I didn't like it very much. And I got the second issue, and I've started to get into it. I think the reason I didn't get into the first issue was maybe it was a slower issue in the series, and I was in the middle of a story that I couldn't figure out. I'm still not super thrilled by the art, but I guess I'm getting used to that too, and maybe this issue is a little better. I definitely suspect that this is an artist who leans heavily on computer tools, and there are moments where you can see that he can hardly draw at all, like where for some reason he didn't have a computer model to draw with or something. Though I could be wrong, maybe he was just hurrying in certain drawings. But on one hand, this has kind of the flavor of like a TV drama, an hour-long drama or something, rather than your typical superhero story. But it also is kind of radical in the way they do nothing to... They use no tricks to explain to you what's going on. I was trying to find an example of where he really screwed up a drawing. But so that's why I keep looking down. I should be looking up at you guys. So he... I find it almost a radical technique, especially for such a popular superhero, to just plunge readers into the story and not help them. There's only dialogue here. There's no overlay of other narratives or anything, and you just have to figure out what's going on. And I'm starting to like that. So I'm thinking 3 or 4 more issues of this when I really know what's going on. I may really like Iron Man after all. Surprising technique, though, on something that people who know Iron Man from the movies will come in, and I think they'll find this mostly totally puzzling. And there is like an explanation of things at the beginning, but it's more just cleverly written backstory than really catching you up to speed on what you're seeing on the page here. So I guess I'm rescinding saying I hate Iron Man, and now I'm kind of looking forward to see what happens next. Hopefully, also that I got the second issue of my subscription hopefully means these subscriptions work, because I think subscriptions are the only way that I'm going to buy these $4 comic books, with the occasional exception, but especially from Marvel, who's pushing them so hard. I just don't want to get in the habit of doing $4 comic books and let them think that everyone will happily buy $4 comic books. So anyway, I'll be back in a while with some more reviews from this week's comics. Talk to y'all later.